So what we completed yesterday was eligibility. So that means on our homepage when we've logged in, we should see our study in our eligibility tile. So I can see a few in here anyway. So let's just use our tiles because again, this is how you manage your workload. It's going to be the best and easiest, quickest way for you to get into any application you need to complete any further review of. So I can see mine here. So simply click on it when you see your study. Again, it's in that eligible tile. That's going to take us directly to the summary page, like we've talked about. When you click on the applications, that's where your landing page for the application is. So what we'll be doing today is we'll be the research office, we'll be the applicant, we'll be the CE. So we've got a few roles we're going to have a play with. So what we're doing is we have already reviewed the application. I'm not going to get you to pull it up again and read the dummy data. I'm just going to get you through the decisions because I want to show you how to do that now as well. So we've landed on our summary page here. We need to go to decisions. So how we do that is from the left-hand menu, we've got management, and we're just going to expand that. And we're going to select decisions. So decisions in the system, we touched on this a little bit yesterday, is you'll see some automatic decisions created. One here at the moment is the recommendation by RGO. So that's created once we made our study eligible. If our study didn't have ethics approval in the system, this would not have generated, just an FYI. So the system recognizes that we've got ethics approval. We've got that up here as well, the tag. That's a good visual identifier as well. And that lets the system know, yes, you can push this through now to authorization. If we didn't have any ethics approval in the system, be it uploaded from external ethics or the ethics is still under review in the system, this does not generate. So that is completely fine. Once ethics approval is in the system, that'll automatically generate. We're not going to touch this right now though, because I want to request information. So what we need to do is make our page editable. It's not editable at the moment. We can't add anything. So edit icon, top right-hand corner with the little pencil in the box. We click on that. This is when we can start to do things in the system with our application. So again, just that edit icon and it turns into the grayed out floppy disk. And from here, really nice and easy, the terminology is fantastic. Add decision, that's what we want to do. So when you add a decision, you've got a bit of a two-step process. You create the decision and then you provide it. So what we're going to do is we're going to create the type of decision we want, and then we will go ahead and select the actual decision type. So again, I've just added the decision here using this button. I don't see a lot of research officers using the current due date. This is not something that's widely used. This will just kind of give the researcher, you know, an FYI they need to respond to you within a week if you want to use that. Okay, that's what this due date is. It's not a mandatory field as well. As you can see, it doesn't have a red asterisk. So you can still complete the decision if you provide the type. So that's the only mandatory field in this decision we're creating at the moment. So let's click on the type. You can click on the row anywhere here, or you can select the three dots. It does not matter. It'll pull up the box for you. So we're just on the type row. And you've got a couple of options here. I'll just go through what we've got here. So this is where we can create any decision we need in the system. Realistically, you're not going to need this recommendation by RGO. Very unlikely you'd have to create it. With you guys coming to the system, you're going to have a good set of header departments already listed in the system. This is if you had to manually add one. Again, not thinking you would have to do that anytime soon. So we're just going to ignore these two here. This C delegate decision, that's going to automatically create for us once we complete this decision. We don't need to create that, so we're going to leave these. Okay. And the very last one as well, you don't need to create that. The only one that you would really be using, guys, is this more information required -SSA. When we are going to request information from the applicant, we'll create the decision. When we send it, that just lets the system know to update statuses as well. So it's really important. We choose the more information required -SSA. And we're just going to click on it. So you click on it, make sure that little checkbox is ticked there. And nice and easy at the bottom, we just click on the tick to apply that. So what you can see here, once I click on the tick, I've got the type loaded now. That's good. That's the one I want. More information required -SSA. We don't touch the application version because the system's automatically pulling version, the current version. So we don't need to touch it. The only other thing that I would do at this point is add myself as the user. We don't touch predecessor. So what we want to do is add ourselves as the user so we can provide the decision. So what we're doing at the moment is we're creating the type of decision we want to send to the applicant, but we also need to make sure we, as the research office, can send that decision off. So we're creating the shell and then we're just going to fill it up with our decision. So on that user row, we just click anywhere or the 3 dots, whatever you're comfortable with, they do the same thing. And this is where we're just going to pull our name through. So we're just going to put our name into the user search here. So that's your work email or what you've registered with. And we just hit the search and should just pull up the one there for you. Once you see your name and you just hover over it at highlights, you just select it. Again, we're just making sure the checkbox is ticked there. And then at the bottom, add user. So we're just hitting the tick at the bottom there as well. So what you should have on the screen is 2 of the black boxes appearing. One is more information required as to say, the other should be your name. The notes here are working notes again. So this is not going to go anywhere. It's not going to send to your applicant. It's just going to stay in this application for your view. Anyone in your office can also see the notes. So anyone with access to this, the organization from the internal portal will be able to see the notes here. These are just working notes. If you want to put any comments there, not mandatory, but it's there for you if you need it. We're just going to hit save just at the bottom there because we want to save that decision. So what we can see here, we've got the decision created. We now need to provide the decision. So we've created it. And what we want to do is, because we've added ourselves as the user, we can nice and easily click on the 3 little people icon, and that is your user decision. So that's where you can then provide a decision. We'll touch on these a little bit later because we don't need to right now, but we'll be touching on these and I'll explain what these icons are as well. But just for now, we want to click on the 3 little people, and to the right of the screen, you can see it's popped up your name. Because we added ourselves as the user, it recognizes that we can provide this decision. If you hover over your name, you can click on it, and that's where we provide our decision. So what we've got here, we've got the decision. And what we're going to do is we'll go with the decision pending further information first, and I'll explain what these 2 are. So decision pending further information means the applicant can amend their site application form and any submitted documents. So when we do that, that's going to create a new version of the application. So it's going to go from 1.00 to 1.01. So we're just creating a new version so they can amend anything in the form that you've asked them to. This is the most commonly used decision. The other one is recommendation pending further information, and we'll do that after we respond to the request for information first. That will create a form for them to respond to, and I'll go into detail when we touch on that one, but that's the difference between them. So let's go ahead and click on decision pending further information. I'm pretty much just saying update a specific response in their form. So when you are sending a request for information, nice and clear to try and get it back, not too many back and forths between yourself and the user if you can. This is where you can put the comments. They will pull into your email that you're going to send. If you don't have them ready, it's okay. The email templates are editable. If you miss this step, it's not the end of the world. You can always just enter it into the email template as well. And what we're going to do is we're going to hit save. And what you're going to see is it's going to update in this column here, the outcome. So we'll just give it a second there. So just to kind of touch on it, we created the decision. So that's the type of decision. Okay, and when we provide our outcome, that's when it generates here. So we know we're asking for more information now. A couple of things have happened straight away here as well. My page isn't editable anymore. So that would happen for you too. The reason being, we've created a new version of the application for the applicant. That means it's editable right now. So we, as the research office, can't then edit anything in the application because technically it's out of our hands at this second. It's gone back right away to the applicant. Just a rule of thumb, guys, you make that decision, it will update straight away as soon as it saves. So rule of thumb, just send the email. Don't leave it and come back to it because your applicant could be in the system already and go, hold on, why is my study now in progress? I haven't got an email. So nice and easy, we can send an email still. We've got this little email icon just on the row here. And when we click on that, so what we've got here, it's a request for information from us as the RGO, decision pending. So it's going to the principal investigator at this point. If they had an admin contact listed in the system, they would be pulling through to the CC. So they'd be included in the email here. So what we can see, I would just tidy this up. It's just showing the RGO that's provided this, this response. Just remove that, and that's just our comment coming through. So just in the email, it's just saying what the study is. Thank you for submitting it. It's been reviewed. Further information is required. This is what we need from you. If they make any changes to any documents, they can upload a cover letter just to kind of make it nice and clear what's been changed. It also says if they're changing any documents they previously submitted, make sure they update the footer with a new version and date, as well as including a tracked copy of the document. So it's nice and easy for you guys to see a red line review of what actually has been changed in that submitted document. A couple of things again just below, just a guide, a walkthrough video if they're not familiar with how to respond to requests for information. This lets them know what happens when they resubmit, and they can track their application using links below. If you want to add anything to the email, absolutely can. Just again, be really mindful what you're removing from the email templates. You don't want to kind of remove information that's going to assist the users with responding back to you. You can click and drop or drag your files here if you have anything specific you like to send to your applicants. You can have the option to add them here. If you click on it, it will just open up a little box for you to find your information, or if you have it on your desktop, click, drag it and drop, and it will pop into there as well. I'm not going to add anything further to this template. I'm just going to go ahead and hit send. It's going to send it off to my applicant. So we're just going to hit send just at the bottom there, and we'll let the system do its little magic there. And we can tell that the email has sent by this little tick here. So that just lets you know the email has sent. It'll also be saved in the related documents. And that's just another way for you to check if you wanted to. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to have a look in my email. At this point, from a research office perspective, you would be done with this particular study, go on to the next study or whatever you're getting onto next. It's out of your hands at this point. There's nothing further for you to do with this study. What we're going to do, we're going to become the researcher, and we're going to have a look at the email. It's everything we've just gone through. So again, it's just a breakdown of the study. It's addressed to the PI. You've got the response here that we need to, okay, so I need to update D7, fantastic. I know what I've got to do. I want to make life easy for myself. Let's just click on the link because I just want to access the application. I don't want to have to fiddle around. So we're just going to click on the link, either link here at the bottom of the page, at the bottom of the email. And that's going to open a new tab on our screen. It'll automatically kind of log us into the external portal. So we'll just give it a second there to load. So as you can see, I clicked on the link. It's taken me directly to the application details section. Click edit application. So what we can see here is, again, we're in an editable version now of the application. So this was our decision pending further information. This is the most common used request for information from the research office, because 9 out of 10 times you're needing the applicant to fix something perhaps in the form or any of the submitted documents. So we specifically were asked to update something in D7. Well, what I would do, if that's the only thing I've been asked to do, I'd go to part D and have a look for D7 and see that response there. So realistically, the applicant is just editing what they've been asked to edit. You will be able to see if they change anything else that you hadn't asked them to change, because you get a tracked copy of the application too. So top of the screen here, track changes. It's a red line copy of the application form. Preview would be a clean copy of the form. That's a Regis team button, don't worry about that. Save. This is where the applicant can save and come back to their application if they need to. Next, we'll go to the next page. Previous goes to the previous page. They can also invite other study team members to have edit, submit, view access with this button here as well. My response was update D7. It was really nice and clear. There was more information than that clearly. So I have no currently selected. I'm just going to select yes. So we can put some more data in here because Regis uses smart form technology, and it means that based on a response, it knows to either show or hide information. So I've selected yes now, and I'm going to put a couple of numbers in here because I'm advising how many tissue samples I'm going to access from the site. So I need to put a bit of data in there now. D7.2, let's keep life simple for ourselves, guys. I'm going to select no. And we're just going to go ahead and simply click on that. What this is doing, it's pretty much just creating a Word and a PDF for the research office as well as the applicant here. It's going to send it back to the research office. Any amended documents also will get shot through. So it's just preparing that all at the moment. What we want to do, I want to show you the homepage tiles. Let's go to our homepage just from the left-hand menu. Again, I just want to show you how it pops through your tiles. And you can just see on my screen, I've got my STE information provided tile here. And I can see all of our studies have popped in there. So once we had requested information that comes back, it comes back into that particular tile. So again, this is how you can manage your workload to see what's come back to you, what you need to then action. So again, I will take you back and forth through tiles. It might seem a bit repetitive, but I think it's really, really useful just so you can understand, again, the flow in the system, as well as understanding where you need to look for certain things as well. I'm just going to go ahead and I'll get you all to do the same. Just click on your study. Again, repetition, I'll just keep doing this a few times for you just to get you nice and familiar with it. And there are a couple of things I want to show you. I want to show you how you can easily identify what documents have come back, possibly changed. So once we clicked on our application, we want to go to our related documents because that's where all the documents will live in the system for this study. So left-hand menu, we click Management, Related Documents. I'm just going to make sure all of mine are on my page so I can show you. You can do the same too. If you want to do items per page, I'll just go 100. There's not 100 in the system for me at the moment, but that's what we can see here. We've got a few things on the screen here. If I had a study that had a lot of documents that had been submitted, a good way to kind of indicate what you're looking at is you can see via these little asterisks here. This is just one way to identify it. This just means these have recently been submitted or uploaded by the applicant. Another way you could do is by looking at, show only from the latest submission. So you've got some filters here. So if I hit search. So we didn't touch any of our submitted site documents, so they're not showing here because they haven't been changed. This is a really good tool for you to see exactly what has been edited by your applicant. They didn't touch the certificate of currency, they didn't touch the site pick form, they didn't touch the questionnaire. So this is a really good one to have a look at, especially if you have a large study and it has like 150, a lot of documents. Realistically, more than what we've got in the training. So this is a really useful tool. Again, you can search by application version, so you can see first version 1, version 1.0. So the system automatically creates a Word and a PDF version of the application, the clean document. That's why we've got 2 here. And what we've got above that is our change tracking document. So that's going to show you the red line changes of anything that's been changed in the application. So I'm just going to click that to open it on the screen just to show you guys. As an applicant, we didn't touch any of this, so I'm just going to scroll down until I can see where the changes have been made. Okay, so here is nice and good. It shows you the red text is the change track. So you can see exactly that this response has been changed. So scrolling down, just triple checking anything else has been changed, nothing there. All right, and we can see that this has changed because they've resubmitted the application. So that's the other change. So really nice and clear exactly what has been changed in the application. And it's also good if you were checking what you sent them, you said update 1, 2, 3, and they've updated 1, 2, 3, 4. You can go, hold on, why did they update 4? Now I've got to have a good look at number 4 now just to make sure there's no big changes there. So this is the change tracking document I think is really useful. Really nice and clear. It shows you exactly what's been changed in the form. It stands out as well, so it's a good visual there. So I'll just close it with the little X here. That'll just close the document that's on the screen for me. And I'll just clear this up. So I want to check all my documents in here. Just hit search. Fantastic. They've given us everything we wanted. So what I want to do, I want to go and ask for one more request for information because I want to show you the second type we have in the system. And I'll kind of explain why you might want to use that one. So we're done in the related documents. We've checked what they've done. We just need a bit more information, but I don't want them to touch anything else in the application or the documents they've submitted. So we're going to create the second type of request for information, going to decisions. And we're going to do what we just did previously. We're going to create the decision and then provide it. So we have to make the page editable. So select edit from the right-hand side of the screen, add decisions, and really same thing we did previously. We're going to select the type because I know we're going to answer it straight away. So I clicked anywhere on that type row, and it's the second from the bottom. It's more information required -SSA. We select that by just clicking on it and then tick at the bottom. And the only thing we want to do at this point as well is just add ourselves as the user. So when you create a request for information, it is a single decision you're creating, but there are two outcomes you can provide. Add ourselves as the user so we can provide the decision nice and easy. Click on that user row, pop our name in there. We should be coming up. Once we do, we just hit tick on our name there. Bit of repetition coming into play now as well, guys. Select, tick at the bottom, adds the user. Working notes again, if you want to pop any in, that's where you can do it. No one's going to see it except you in your office. And we just hit save. Once that saves, it's going to pop down underneath. What you'll see is the more information is going lower. So it's just the way it's been filtered. So you can kind of filter these any way you like. Decision, modified date, etc. Play with that later if you want to. I'll just quickly touch on this because you might be wondering what the heck this little half moon is. That just means that there's more recent information. So since we had requested more information and they amended the application, the system recognizes that. And because this decision hasn't been provided, this recommendation by RGO, before we go and provide it, the system's just letting us know, hey, just an FYI, something's changed since the initial version of the application. So what we're going to do on that more information required row, we're just going to select the three little people icon. So your view user decisions. And we're going to click on our name. And this is where we'll select the recommendation pending further information. This will purely create a big free text box for your applicant. So if you don't want them to change anything in the application, you don't need any changes to the submitted documents. You purely need maybe a bit of clarification or further written information that isn't necessary within the application. Use this instead of sending an email to your applicant, okay? Because the system's going to recognize this as showing out of your hands and with the researcher. Whereas if you sent an email, one, you've got to remember, you know, that you've sent it if you get really busy, which you will in a research office and a researcher world. Two, who's going to track it? It's just let the system do it for you. If it's purely you needing to send correspondence, just do it in the system, because at least it'll come back to you in the system and you can see it's come back. It's a little bit hard to try and follow up if it's, you know, you've sent an email and you don't remember when. Make life easy, guys. I'm just going to say, please clarify ABC. Obviously, when you're sending requests, it'd be a bit more wordy than that. But for training, we're just pretty much saying we just need this information from you. Once we've said, please clarify ABC, we're going to hit save. So again, that's recommendation pending further information. We're going to hit save. And status, as soon as we save that, you can see information requested. Okay, the reason it's not in progress is because the application is not editable. We haven't asked for the applicant to update the application or any submitted documents. We're asking for information for them to write back to us. That's why the status is not in progress. So we can see that information requested in the top right-hand corner. So that again is letting the system know it's out of your hands and it's now with your researcher. Once we have our more information required, recommendation pending appeared there. Let's go ahead and make sure we send that email. It's a 3-step process. It's create, provide, send email. We click on the send email icon. It's a little bit different, the wording here. So we've got recommendation pending. So that's very much based on what we've just provided. Just scrolling down. What we can see here, it's just, again, it's basic information saying, hi, so-and-so study this has been reviewed. The RGOs determined more information is required via a more information required form. So it's letting them know exactly what has been created. You're not required to change any of the application or documents submitted. A form has been created. Click this link to navigate to the form. So we've got a link there, so it's nice and easy for them to go. Don't remove that. If you're going to remove anything, don't remove that, because that makes life easy. Again, I'm just going to tidy up my name here. When you see emails coming from the system, just have a quick view of them. We provide information as appropriate, and you'll notice that when we get to the end of the session today, that is for you to have a look at and remove as required. We try and have a lot of information in there that will hit the points you need, so you don't have to go and write them in, but you will need to remove them if they're not applicable to your study. So there you go. Please clarify. Below that, we've got the guide and the video for a bit of assistance if they're unfamiliar, not familiar with this this process. I'm not going to edit this template. I'm happy with it. Let's just go ahead and send it. So we're going to hit send at the bottom there. We're just making sure, I just want you guys to get into a habit of create, provide, send. So we should have received this email. So I'm going to pop into my inbox and onto the screen it goes. Exactly what we've just looked at, guys. So we just click on this link here and it's going to take us there, and click on forms. And then we also click on that more information required form. So the only time a form would be created for an application is in this instance. There's no other reason a form would be created for an application. Forms are very much created for projects when amendment forms are needed, safety notifications, those are forms. So click on this form. And like I said, it's a big free text box. That is all it is, because this is where you would send correspondence to your applicant. And what I would do as an applicant is, so the research officer said, please clarify ABC. And I'd put my, response here. It's pretty big as well. You can just like keep going as it doesn't, there's tons of space if they need to write you a really big response. It's really simple, this form. There's not much to it. It's text and you submit it back to your research office. Preview allows your applicant to download a clean copy of the form that we're about to see. You won't have validate, that's for our testing purposes, and save just lets the applicant save it and come back if they need to. But let's go ahead and just hit submit, because it is that straightforward. It's responding to written correspondence. This is really useful, guys, if you do need to get some clarification or some written information back to you. Don't send emails outside of the system. I'm done with that. I've submitted it back to the research office. I'm going to move on. So those are the two types of requests for information that can be sent from the research office. The first one we went through, very likely you'll send that. Kind of rare you might send this one, but it is here, and I wanted to show you it is an option, and it is the option to use if you need to send something just for clarification or such, okay? It's important to just understand what the system has available for you as well. So from the researcher perspective, I'm going to move on. So we're going to go back now to the internal portal. So it's the same status we had when we resubmitted our initial request for information as a researcher. It's information provided. So that homepage tile will pull both of these requests for informations back into the one tile, which we'll have a look at now. Nice and easy, we're going to go back to our homepage. So homepage from the left-hand menu. I just want to get you really familiar with your tiles. And they've all come back into this tile. So again, the two types of requests for information will pull through to this one tile. You don't need two different tiles. They both have the same status when they come back to you. And that's the status we filtered in this tile here. So again, statuses are really important. They play a really good role in the system, especially with you guys managing your workload with these tiles here. So one tile, two decision types will come back into the same tile. So really nice and easy again. We're just going to go back to our study. I know it's a bit back and forth, but I really want you to get familiar with your tiles. So we're just going to click on our study again. I want to show you guys where that form lives again that they've submitted to us. So we go to management. And then we go to related documents, because that's all the documents that will come in for this study will fall in related documents. It's only in one place. You don't have to look everywhere. So something unique about this particular form as well, the document type is more information required, and the only way that document type can be created is via our decision. Researchers can't select that document type. So if you had a lot of documents here and you really wanted to kind of just quickly navigate to that particular document, you could just use the more information required document type. We hit search, only one document, because again, no one can choose that. It is a system generated document type. So just a little tip there. That's probably, to me, just because I know it off the top of my head, that's a nice, quick, sneaky way to get to that particular document. And I'll just open it on the screen for you. It's going to be a really basic form, but we don't expect too much from it. That's exactly what it is. That's what it looks like when it comes to you guys. So that's just all the information they would have provided for you. Okay, really straightforward. Got the identifier there. Okay, and it's submitted by this person on this date. Basic, but it's basic because it is only providing you with written information. These are just download options. If you wanted to possibly print it, you can do that, and you've got just some more options to view it differently. It's a one-page document. It's not going to go over 2 pages, but that's what these options here as well. You can rotate and such. So we'll hit the X just to close this document. I'm happy with that. So what I want to do, I'm going to show you how you can upload a briefing document. That way you don't have to send it separately. And I'll show you how you can attach it to the recommendation. So you're not having to, outside of the system, send an email. Reset my filters here. Yep. So you guys have the ability to upload documents too into the system, into a particular study. And I want to show you, instead of having to do 2 steps out of the system, just keep it all in the system. So you're not having to try and, do 100 things, because you can upload the document and it will send to your CE with that decision. So they're going to be looking at the decision anyway. The document will be included. Really nice and easy. First thing we have to do though is make our page editable. So edit icon in the top right-hand corner of the screen, because we want to make sure we can actually add documents here. You can upload documents in draft form and then work on them. I don't want to show you that right now because I think it's a bit overcomplicated when you're trying to get initially in the system, but I can show you that when you're a bit more confident. What I would do is I'd have my document that's ready to be uploaded for the CE. I pop it into the system. What I mean by working on the document is you could put a draft in and then you could put your final document on top of it, but maybe just keep it simple for today. We'll just put our final, complete brief in for the system here. So what we're going to do is really nice and easy. We select add document. If you have it on your desktop and you can click and drag, go ahead, fantastic. If not, and you want to search for it, you can click in this section here and you can find the document you're after using this option here. Once you find it, you just go ahead and you select it as you normally would uploading a file. We're not done yet, so don't go ahead and hit save yet. I just want to show you it's kind of floating there. You could actually add multiple documents in one kind of set as well, but what we've got here is just letting me know I've got my document ready. I can actually provide the document type here as well. So this is the electronic, this is the title, sorry, it's going to appear as here, the title. So if you wanted to, change it, you could. So this title here is what will appear here. This says none at the moment. This is going to be your document type. So we actually have an RGO brief document type. So if you start typing RGO in, we've got RGO brief. Just for training, I'll keep it simple. RGO brief is the document type, and we're just going to hit save. Any document you upload in the system is specific to whatever study you're currently in. So we can see here on my screen, we've got a document right here, and that's that RGO brief we just uploaded. You can see that there's little coin stack, or people like to call it burger, whatever you want to call it. That just indicates a document has been uploaded via the internal portal or an email has been sent from the internal portal. So it's one of two. Anything internal related will have this little icon next to it. Anything your applicant has created or uploaded, it doesn't have that symbol, just an FYI. So we can see anything the research office has actioned or uploaded will have these symbols here. And what we're going to do just before we go and complete that RGO recommendation, we're going to play with tags really quickly, just so I can show you what the tags are going to look like in the system when you start using them. So tags are a good way for you guys to kind of identify what might be the authorized documents that you're wanting to send to your CE. So you can say, look, I know that A, B, and C is going to be hopefully the authorized documents. Also, it's going to help you when you start to formally authorize the study. So we're in edit mode, and you can see that we've got this add tag under the tags column here. What we want to do, let's go to, we'll let's go to the site training certificate of currency. So just this one here. And you just click on the add tag and just start typing in authorized. There's so many in here. Let's just go with RGO authorized. This is why I don't want you guys to add any further tags, because we've got to go in there and we've actually got to clean out all of these tags that people have put in, because you actually can create tags. So RGO authorized is one that's already in there. It's going to meet what I'm after. I'm just going to select RGO authorized. It's going to be easy for me to see. I'm happy with that. So just below your certificate of currency, I hope you have the same kind of labeling as me. I've got my CTRA below that. I've got my indemnity below that, my pick form, as well as my questionnaire. So I'm just going to go and put RGO authorized on all of those documents, and then I'll show you when we formally authorize the study how we can utilize that to quickly pull what we're after. So there's a couple of steps. So again, I'm just going to start putting RGO authorized just on all of those documents below that would have been submitted initially that I've reviewed. I'm recommending should be authorized to my CE as well. This will just help you in the long run as well, once you're ready to provide the authorization formally. So realistically, we should, I think, have 5 documents. 1, 2, 3, 4, yep, questionnaire 5. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we've got the certificate of currency, CTRA, the indemnity, the site pick form, and the site questionnaires, all tagged now with RGO authorized. As soon as you add a tag, it automatically saves. I just want to show you guys the option to view just all the study documentation or anything in related documents using the tag view as well. So currently you would be in table view. So that's what table view looks like, what we've got on the screen. If we hit tag view, it's going to just condense these into anything tagged. So you can see we've got RGO authorized tagged and we've got untagged. If you click RGO authorized, it's just those documents we just tagged. Anything untagged will fall into this category here. So that's just another option you guys have with filtering, if you want to do that. Aggregate view is similar to tag, but it will kind of break it down by the document type. So whatever your preference is, go nuts. I think a lot of people like this one. I just keep it table view during training because I want to show you all the details on the page. This view is going to show you all the details here. If you click, for example, aggregate, you just expand it and you'll still get all the details, but you just got to expand it. So it's whatever works best for you guys. You've got many options. I keep it table just because I want to show you all the details here while I'm talking through it. Just a couple of things I'll point out because you're probably looking at them right now going, what is that? What we've got here is this shows you visibility of documents. So this one is showing me currently this is not visible in the external portal. So your applicant can't see this particular document. This one here is not visible for related sites in the system. Okay, and not something generally that would be, to be completely honest. We've got the ethics approval, so that's visible there. Little arrow popping out means it's visible now. A clear eye means it's visible for the sites. So arrow is for your researchers, and so arrow in the box, and the eye is for related sites. If you click on any of those, you are going to make it visible. The system automatically does this for you. It knows what should be shared based on what you're approving or you've created. Let's go to our decision now, complete that recommendation, and we can kind of filter our documents a bit, and I'll show you what I mean. So left-hand menu, decisions. So we've tagged our documents. It's going to help us in the long run. What we want to do is on that recommendation by RGO row, don't think we're going to appear there automatically. So what we want to do is let's go to the edit icon on that row. So this generated as soon as we made the study eligible, because our ethics existed in the system, we had it uploaded. If anyone in your office is the CE delegate, you could override the outcome if that's what's going to happen in your office. We won't do that today because I want to show you what's going to happen when it goes. That's what that option means. If anyone is a delegate in your office, they have the ability to override and provide the recommendation there. So what we're going to do is we're going to add ourselves as the user because we want to provide this decision. So on that user row, we're going to click on it, and we're just going to add ourselves like we have been doing, finding our name, and we're going to select our name by hitting our little person there, and then the add user by the tick at the bottom there, and that should add us as the user there, and we hit save. So again, the notes here are just working notes. We don't have to provide any comments there. It's purely for you guys. If you need to provide any notes between your team, you can do so there. So we're just going to hit save here. Okay, so on that row, just like with our decisions we created, we're going to go all the way over and select our little view user decision icon, the three little people. So we should have our name pulling up. We're going to click on ourselves. And this is where we provide the recommendation now to our CE. So we're saying is recommended, is not recommended, or requires consideration by the CE or delegate. What we want to do in this instance, guys, is we want to say is recommended. Okay. And what we can say here as well, so the comments we put here, when the CE decision is created in the external portal, any comments you put here will be visible for your CE. So if you wanted to put any comments here, just say, for example, RGO brief attached, you could do that. Any comments you need specifically to provide your CE, you can pop here and they will be visible, and we'll see that when we go to the decision. So we're not going to choose any files at this moment because we're going to put the files in the CE's decision. So this is all I would need to do at this moment. I'm just saying, look, you're going to get a briefing document, and I'm going to hit save. So again, is recommended, RGO brief attached, save. We want to see our outcome here, and then you'll also see the CE decision should grade as well. So just at the bottom here. So we see that it's generated now, the CE or delegate decision. What we want to do here is we need to manage the documents that have been selected, because automatically it selects a number of the documents initially submitted. So we want to now go and say, hold on, we only want you to authorize 1, 2, and 4. And we've got an RGO brief for you as well. So you can see it's automatically got 11 documents selected. We hit this little paper with a folded corner. And this is going to be showing us the documents that have been automatically selected for the CE delegates review. This is why it was kind of really important that we went ahead and we tagged the authorized documents to make it really nice and clear. Those submitted documents are going to be what we expect to be authorized. So if you're scrolling down, realistically, so my ethics approval letter has been selected here. Does your CE need to see that? Yes, no, you can leave it. You can remove it by checking on the box to remove or add it. So again, it's automatically selected that. It's automatically selected the ethics application and submitted documents. So again, whatever your CE requires to review, you can leave or you can remove. I would remove possibly the more information required form unless it had information that was really relevant to your CE providing their decision. So if you don't need that in there, you just tick it to remove it, and I'll just show you what that looks like. I don't think they need to see project registration, so I'm going to remove that as well just by clicking on the checkbox. Okay. But I do want that RGO brief in there, so that's not selected at the moment. So what it's pulling is the initially submitted documents and any requests for info we've sent. So I'm going to select the RGO brief. It's got the SSA here, so the site application. I'm just going to go to the next page, and excellent, it's got my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 documents selected there. The system automatically selects your Word and PDF versions of the documents too. So I've already got my Word selected. I'm just going to unselect my PDF here. You can see that once I clicked on that SSA, because there are two versions of the application in the system, version 1 and 1.01, it's expanded just to show me that there are two versions currently in the system. It automatically selects the most current version anyway, but that's just why that folder kind of opened up. It's just letting me know there's multiple versions in the system. It automatically knows to select version 2, but version 1 is just showing me that it's not deleted from the system. It's hidden, but there are many versions in the system. Once you've selected your documents, if you've got anything else you've forgotten to put onto the into the system, you can click and drag and drop it here. So if you forgot to add your brief earlier and you're at this point, you can just click and drag and drop it in here. That's fine. Once we've done that, the ticks at the bottom apply any changes you've made or additions you've made. So just put the tick here. And you can see straight away it's managed the documents down from 11 to 9 because I've filtered, played with what documents I'm going to send through to my CE. As soon as we had that recommendation completed and this generates, you can see in the top right hand corner it's pending CE. So straight away it knows the application is pushing on to the next flow. The text is blue. We want to only see black text when we are creating or completing decisions. So to me, this means the data hasn't been saved yet. So I just want to make sure I go and save that using the floppy disk icon in the top right-hand corner here. So any text that is not black just means you've got to save some data, and that's really nice and easy to see on the screen by the floppy disk being black there. So we just hit save, and that text should change to black, which it has. Fantastic. So we've managed the documents, which is the first step. What we want to do now is go ahead and we're going to add who the CE should be. Once we add the CE, it'll automatically send an email to that CE or delegate, whoever's in that position. So what we want to do is select the edit icon on that row. That's the CE delegate decision row. And we're just going to add the user. So click on that row again. We're adding ourselves as the user because I want to show you what it's going to look like. And you just add them as a user by searching for their name. So search for your own name, you select it, and then as you've become very familiar with, find yourself, click, and then tick at the bottom. That just applies that user just being added there. You could even give your CE a due date. So if you wanted them to sign this off within, say, a week or two, you can put that in the current due date, and that'll actually come up as a due date for them as well. In the email, the system will automatically send for you. So once you've added yourself there, let's go ahead and put a due date just so I can show you what it looks like. So we add ourselves as the user, click on the calendar icon, just to the top here under the current due date. And you can just say, look, you've got a week. I'll give you a week to get back to it. Working notes again, guys, you don't need to put anything in there. It's not going to pull through to a template. The email that gets sends as soon as we hit save. We don't edit it. It's a generic email. It just says, this is the study that you've been asked to provide your CE kind of authorization on, and the link will take them directly to the decision, and they can go and review documents, your comments, as well as provide their decision. So all we need to do at this point is, if we want to, we add a due date, we add the user, and we hit save. And again, we're not sending the email for this. We don't get the email icon like I was saying. See, there's no email icon here. What we get is an email sent to the CE automatically, and mine has come through nice and quick. It's a really, really basic email template here. Dear CE's name, the RGO have completed their review of this site application. It's now available for your consideration, and this is a guide if they're not sure how to review the application, and they can click on these links to take them to that decision there. Let's just go ahead and click on the link. So this is the benefit of that email link, is the CE just clicks on it. This is where they need to go. So what we've got on the page here, just some basic details, study detail here, the ID, title, what site it's going under. So this is the site I'm requesting approval, site approval for, the status pending CE, current versions, there's 1.01, so 2 versions in the system. To the right of the screen is where the decision would be provided. Okay, really nice and easy, authorized, not authorized, authorized with conditions. If these two are selected, comments have to be provided. They can't just say no and submit it. They have to provide a comment. It's a mandatory field. You've got predecessor decisions here at the top of the screen too. So if I click on that, that's what you guys had provided. You are saying it's recommended by the RGO, and any comments you would have made appear there. So that's where your comments have pulled through to. just scrolling down, these are all of the documents we've selected. So we made sure we selected our RGO brief. So that's here. And we've got the documents that we managed for the CE. This is the documents we want them to see. And ultimately, we want authorized. These are the authorized documents. The documents here are also here, the view documents. You can go to view documents and you can kind of view them on the page. So there's just two options for where your CE views documents. Any document that is not a zip file or an email file can be pulled up on the screen so they can review the documents here. Absolutely the same option in decision details. It's just if you click on it, it opens on the page. The other one already kind of has it ready with a list. Two options if they want it. It's going to take a second, so I'll just close that. At this point, let's go ahead and just authorize the study here because we don't really need to re-review these documents. They are dummy documents. From a CE point of view, we're happy, or the delegate point of view, we're happy. We're going to go ahead with authorize. So we're going to click on that thumb. We don't need to provide a comment because we're just saying it's going to be authorized back to the RGO and they can formalize that authorization letter. So authorized, we're going to hit save. Actually pops you back out onto the decisions page. It won't appear here anymore because this is filtered to only show the head of departments or the CEs or delegates what is pending their review and action. At this point, the CE has completed their review of it. They've provided their final decision back to the research office. So what we want to do at this point is we want to go back to the internal portal for our very last step, which is completing that formal authorization. We'll go back to the internal portal. And all we're doing now, guys, we're going to formalize this. So what you should have now, if you've refreshed the page, is we've got this tick in a circle to the right-hand side of the screen. That's where you will complete the formal authorization. And it will take us into the step before completing the authorization, which we have to clean up some documents here. So what we can see here is we've got a lot of documents that have preloaded. So this is why we kind of use the tags as well, guys, because these are the documents we're going to authorize. We don't need to authorize the RGO brief. That's not an authorized document. That was a document for your CE. We technically don't need to authorize the site application because the system automatically shares that anyway. So what I would personally be doing is removing any document that I hadn't indicated as RGO authorized, because these are the documents that are going to be used at the site. It could also be just the insurance. You want to make sure that's just included as a visibility. That's why it might be useful to get familiar with tags. So when you get to this point, it's nice and clear exactly what documents you are trying to pull into the authorization. If you don't add documents here for authorization, they won't automatically share with your applicant. So what you're going to have to do is go to related documents, click on the visibilities. It's just a bit of time, to get back there, back and forth. So this is the way you want to go. So we should just have the 5 documents here. And once we do, top of the screen, we just hit that send email icon. We'll go ahead and hit the send email. And this is going to populate a template that shows it as authorized. And you might notice some colored text in there that will be for your reference, and we'll just have a look at it. So this is going to go to your principal investigator. And if anyone is an admin contact in the system, they'll get a copy of this email as well. So really nice and straightforward, authorized. Below that, this is the site that has been authorized. It should be the site you're overviewing there. These are the documents we selected. See how they've automatically listed here as well? This is why it's really important we don't manually write some documents in and go, they'll be shared. No, they won't. So the documents that are on the previous page are the ones that are automatically filtered here and automatically be shared. So you don't have to go and go click, click, click. I've got to share these. This is a link for your applicant as well. So they can actually download a zip file of the approved or authorized documents. It's only active for 2 weeks. As soon as you send this notification, the documents are visible anyway in the external portal. So it's just a bit of a, do you want to save a copy on your desktop somewhere? This is the version of the application that's been authorized because they had a version 1.01. That's the authorized version. So that's why I said you didn't really need to include your SSA in there. This is letting us know what's been authorized here. So based on the ethics approval in the system, which is going to be expiring on this date here, it's populating that data. So a lot of the information is pulling from what data is in the system. So a lot of it is from project registration as well. So here is where you'd have to just be a little bit mindful when completing the email. We try and put some color text in so it's a little bit obvious. So if it's a clinical trial, you want to keep certain information in the system, in the email template. So, I would just tidy this up. So this is a clinical trial. Nothing really else in here I'd tidy up. It looks good to me. If you add things, absolutely go and add things. Just again, be mindful if you remove things, what you're removing. The templates, we try and make them cover enough information so you're not having to add too much either. I don't think I need to edit it anymore. So once we hit send the study, we get this that says all good with the approvals. Yes, we're happy with the approvals here. Once we hit the send, it's going to take us to the previous page, but technically the study has then been authorized. We'll have a project generated. So we'll see this. These have no impact on anything at all. Just click on one. It does not matter which one you click on. You can click whatever you want. So what we should see here now, study is authorized in the top right-hand corner of the screen, and you've got a project generated now.